16. Their pitching has been fine, but runs a game, way under 4 runs a game, and this is a lineup with some big-name professional hitters. And it's a team-wide batting slump, and it really has everybody scratching their heads, and some of the biggest offenders are some of their biggest names.
That's right. Dave Winfield, though he's had 3 home runs, has driven in just 5 runs. Lance Parrish batting 133 since the All-Star break. They've depended on the pitching to keep them in the race, but it's time for them to start hitting if they're going to get back into it, Chris.
One hit we'd like to see tonight, I think everybody out there would like to see tonight. A milestone. Dave Winfield, 1 homer, makes him only the 23rd man to hit 400 home runs lifetime if he gets it. He'll try and do it against the Phenom, a #1 draft pick at 87, Willie Banks, making his first professional start against 14-game winner, the ace, Chuck Finley.
Welcome back once again, everyone, to ESPN's Tuesday Night Baseball. We'll get you once again back out to Anaheim, California. But a couple of National League games we want to update. The Montreal Expos facing the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Cardinals need the victory now, knowing that the Pittsburgh Pirates have come up with a victory over the Mets. Tim Wallach, deep shot to center field. Ray Lankford back. It bounces off the wall. Wallach on his way to third is Martinez, and Calderon coming to score. The Expos open up the 4-1 lead. They're trying to put the St. Louis Cardinals down. St. Louis starting the night 5.5 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. A loss would make them 6.5 games back, as Pittsburgh back on track after losing 8 consecutive games. They've now won 2 in a row. Elsewhere tonight, the Phillies and the Cubs. This is Lenny Dykstra at the plate. And Dykstra has just kept it going since coming off the disabled list in that car accident. Sends this shot out, tying the game. Hassenmacher looking on. His life has been a diamond. 2-2 is the score now in the 9th inning. McElroy in there, Richie in there in the 9th for Philadelphia. Stay with us. Back with more in just a moment. We'll get you out to the second half of the doubleheader. The California Angels have lost 6 consecutive games, trying to avoid falling 12 games behind the Minnesota Twins as they go head-to-head with the league leaders. Back with that.
Welcome to Anaheim. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce. And we're getting set for tonight's game between the California Angels and the Minnesota Twins. But right now, the reason the game is being held up a little bit is good a reason as you can get. One of the men inducted into Cooperstown into the Hall of Fame this year, Rod Carew, is tonight being inducted to the Angels Hall of Fame. The longtime Twin and Angel. Let's hear some of his comments down on the field.
I've had the opportunity to play here in Anaheim for 7 years. And I want to thank all of you fans because you're very good to me. I want to thank my former teammates and my manager for coming back and sharing this special day with me. It always seems that when I get honored here or in Minnesota, the Twins and Angels are always playing. I want to wish the Twins luck the rest of the way. And I want to wish the California Angels much better things to happen the rest of the season. When I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, it was one of the greatest honors I think that any player could ever receive. Tonight, the Angels are paying me a very great tribute, inducting me into the Angels Hall of Fame. I'm very happy to be joining Bobby Grich, Don Baylor, and Jim Fregosi. And the same honor that I received in Cooperstown, and the same way that I'm going to cherish that honor in Cooperstown, I'm going to cherish this honor here that the Angels are giving me tonight. Thank you very much for coming out and sharing this evening with me and my wife and my 3 daughters. They've been very instrumental, and they've been behind me throughout my career. And I think sometimes if it wasn't for Marilyn and my 3 girls, that I probably would have gotten out of the game a long time ago. But I enjoyed playing the game, I enjoyed coming out here and trying to give you fans some excitement. And I hope that throughout the 19 years that I played the game of baseball, that I was able to do that. Thank you very much.
And look at yourself. Rodney Cline Carew, Hall of Famer.
Rod Carew saying he hoped that he gave the fans some excitement. Yeah, you don't have to hope. Play 19 years, you get over 3,000 hits. Your lifetime average is 328. You hit over 315 straight years. 18 times you're an all-star. I'd say you've given the fans some excitement. And there's Gene Autry, the owner of the California Angels, the much beloved owner of the California Angels, I might add. And Carew a few moments ago had some very warm words about Gene Autry and some of his former teammates that you saw out there join him. Bert Blyleven, Gene Mauch is out there, the man with the silver hair. Bobby Grich, Doug DeCinces, you might have seen them. Tony Oliva, coaching with the Twins, had a few words. One of the best hitters we will ever see, Rod Carew. Inducted into Cooperstown a couple of weeks ago and inducted tonight in the Angels Hall of Fame. And one of the scariest sights is when you get to look at yourself with a statue, a bust like that. Just checking out, make sure the hair's in place and everything.
Just imagine pitchers. Now they're seeing 2 Carews. It was bad enough when we had to face one. Now there's 2 of them.
You were very fortunate. All your career, except what, for an all-star game, by the time you got to the American League, mercifully, he had retired.
Yes, mercifully, he did retire. And he was, without a doubt, from observing him from the other league, he had nothing but respect from National League pitchers. Players who would come over from the American League, they would talk about great hitters in conversations with their new National League counterparts and say, you've got to see Carew. Nobody can handle the bat like Rod Carew. He played a game within a game with a third baseman. He would bunt, pull the third baseman in, beat it out for a base hit. The next time up, the third baseman would play in even closer, and he'd find a way to hit a ground ball, a line drive, just past him.
And you know what, one of the things that's lost in the greatness of Rod Carew that wasn't talked about much, he, I think, is the last man to be an artist, make an art of stealing home. It's done every now and then, but he did it, what, 6, 7, 8 times one year when he was young with the Twins. He's the last guy to do it that often. That's along with all of the other things that he's done at the plate, which you described. And it was a treat to, as a youngster, and you pitched in the other league, but still you had to marvel at someone that had that much control every at bat over 19 years.
Never really had an idea what it was like until you saw him hit. And I saw it in the All-Star game in '75.
We'll be back here in Anaheim for the Angels and the Twins in just a moment.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By US Air. Every time we fly, everywhere we go, everything we do, US Air begins with you. And by Subaru. We built our reputation by building a better car.
Back in Anaheim for the Twins and the Angels, and Rod Carew is throwing the first pitch to Gene Mauch. It was a strike, naturally, one he could have drilled for a double, or maybe laid down along the third base line. There's some baseball in those 2 gentlemen right there, and we've got some baseball for you tonight. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce, and glad you could be with us for a look at the Minnesota Twins. Really one of the surprise teams in baseball, trying to become the first team since 1969 to come from 7th or lower all the way to first place. Tom Kelly, whose first year as manager was in 1987, and the Twins won it all, beating the Cardinals in an exciting 7-game World Series, is now trying to pull the same sort of surprise. Last year, dead last in the American League West. This year in first place by 3.5 games as we begin this evening. And really, if you look at what's happened for this team, Jerry, they've had a lot of things go right for them. Really no big injuries except a little bit to Erickson. But for the Twins, they've got some big starts and always smiling, trying to keep the attitude up. Doug Rader. But his Angels have fallen on hard times, losing 6 in a row. They've lost 7 in a row here at the Big A. So while Kelly and company have a lot to be happy about, Rader is just trying to get his club back in it. But they play the Twins today, tomorrow, then play the Twins next week. 4 games in Minnesota. It's not too late, but it's getting very late. Let's put it that way for the Angels. Umpires tonight: John Chulak behind the plate, Gary Cederstrom at first, Tim Tashida at second base, and Drew Coble is at third base. The Twins, they keep you, and those 4 men in blue, they'll be on their toes tonight, won't they? Because they all put the ball in play, don't the Twins?
From the top of their lineup through the middle of the lineup all the way to Greg Gagne in the bottom of the lineup. 250 Gagne's hitting, and you've got Kirby Puckett over 300. But you look, there's a contribution from everybody in the lineup. Then you go to the starting pitching. You've got 6 1/3 innings plus from these guys, and you've got the relief pitching doing quite a job since the All-Star break. It's a balanced attack.
Balanced attack indeed, and here is the Twins lineup that Tom Kelly puts on the field tonight. Since he's come off the DL, the leadoff man, Dan Mann from Gladden, has been a terror on the base paths. He plays left field. Chuck New Kids on Knobloch is the second baseman. Kirby Puckett in center field. Chili Davis, the former Angel, huge year at DH. Brian Harper, the unheralded catcher, batting fifth. Shane Mackman swinging a hot stick since the break at right. Gene Larkin at first tonight for Herbeck. Scotty Leyes is at third. And Greg Gagne, the shortstop, another unheralded Twin, bats ninth. That's the lineup that'll try and solve Chuck Finley. 14-5 overall, 10-2 lifetime against the Minnesota Twins. He has had this team's number, as he's had some impressive numbers overall.
Chuck Finley, 14-5, trying to become the second pitcher in baseball to win 15 games. Has a fastball that's over 90 miles per hour. Plus he mixes it in with a terrorizing forkball. Occasional slider. Finley, though he's 14-5, hasn't been as impressive as he was last year. But he has finally found a way to win ball games, not being at his very best. The true sign of somebody coming into their own as a starting pitcher.
He has a different catcher tonight because Lance Parrish is really struggling at the plate. Ron Tingley gets the nod behind the plate tonight for the Angels.
Looking at the infield from first base around, Wally Joyner at first, Luis Sojo at second, Dick Schofield at shortstop, and the former Twin, Gary Gaetti at third base. In the outfield for the Angels, it's Luis Polonia, Dave Gallagher in center, and Dave Winfield reaching all sorts of personal milestones in right field for the Angels tonight.
So the Twins, can they keep it going? Won last night with a 5-run first inning. The Angels had a half-hour players-only team meeting. They were fired up. And then the Twins, what do? They go out. The first 6 men reach base. The first 5 of them scoring runs before anyone was out. And then that was it. They won it last night 7-4. And these Twins are just taking advantage of little crevices, and they're going forth like locomotives. If you follow that analogy, you give them a little room, and they go for it. That's what Gladden's return to the lineup has helped them do. He's been a terror hitting in the leadoff spot since his return from the DL.
Looking at the Twins and the Angels, they're just 2 of the 4 teams that are involved in a 20-game swing. You add Seattle and you add Oakland in here, it's an interesting 20-game swing because a pennant could be made or broken in this 20-game swing. So far for the Angels, they're 0-4. They lost 3 games in a row to Seattle to start this homestand. They lost the first one last night to Minnesota. Oakland and Seattle are playing one another. So at the end of these 20 games, this home and away run, it will be interesting to see how the American League West stacks up.
I guess the umpires are trying to move the photographers back or inside behind the white lines. Extra photographers out there tonight for pictures of Rod Carew being inducted a few moments ago to the Angels Hall of Fame. And so we've had a bit of a delay here. Don't worry, it's not raining here in California. It never rains in Southern California. I think somebody once sang that. And Tom Kelly said we'd like the guys back. And now we're ready to play ball. The Twins and the Angels from Anaheim. Stick around. We've got the 14-game winner Chuck Finley against the best team in the American League, team with the best record, and he starts with a strike over the outside corner against Dan Gladden. Gladden, the first 6 weeks of the season, was around that dreaded Mendoza line at 200. So his 277 average, he's really been about 350 since about the middle of May. And that's since he's come off the DL more recently. He's been even higher than that. Ooh, that flunked him. And one way or another, Dan Gladden finds a way to get on. Well, that pitch was just really wild for Finley.
Looks like he tried to throw a slider to get it inside. It got away from him. Finley has an odd delivery in that he's on the third base side of the rubber. Doesn't leave him much margin for error on a breaking pitch. He is determined to get it inside to a right-handed hitter. Many pitching coaches want the pitcher to be on the first base side, particularly left-hander, because it gives him a better angle to home plate for his breaking pitches.
Rookie second baseman Chuck Knobloch steps up and looks at strike one from Finley. Knobloch was not on the roster, not really in their plans to start the season, but just by the way he played this spring, he played himself not only onto the team but into the starting role at second base. And really, you're talking about a guy that played shortstop at Texas A&M and growing up, so he's still learning the position. He's done beautifully in the field and at the plate. However, not this time. Schofield, Soho, past Joyner. It gets away toward the photographers, so the Angels could have turned two. And since it did roll in among the photographers, what looked like an easy double play ball ends up being a force out, and Knobloch on second base. So that kind of in microcosm of the way things are going. The Angels even get a gift, and they can't cash in on it. That was easy.
Routine ground ball. Schofield shovels to Soho, has plenty of time to make the return, and throws wide of the base. Joyner, though he's stretched out, can't quite come and catch the ball. Gets past him. Knobloch's on second base, and the Twins have another break. This is exactly how they've been winning their ball games, taking advantage of every break possible. The Angels, on the other hand, as you can see it written on the face of Doug Rader, just can't seem to take advantage of anything.
So Soho's error puts a runner in scoring position for one of the best batters around, Kirby Union Gap Puckett. 12 homers, 63 RBIs, hitting .330 going into tonight. Yes, he can win a batting title. He's done it before. He's certainly within range right now. Swings and misses, strike one. Puckett's first at bat of the game, 426. You talk about jumping on somebody.
People tell you that scoring the first run in a baseball game is so very important. Here's the man right here that has been instrumental in the way the Twins have been playing. That average alone tells much of the story with Minnesota.
Fouled back to the right side and out of play. Puckett sat yesterday, the first time in 70 games that he didn't play. Here's a guy that every year in the majors has had over 550 at-bats. You don't see Kirby Puckett sit very often.
Drove Al Newman crazy on the bench. Didn't quite know how to handle it. Asking guys if they wanted to get some Coca-Colas or whatever they bring on the bench.
0-2 pitch outside for ball.
He hasn't experienced life as a starting pitcher. That would drive him crazy. You wonder why starting pitchers get nuts. We're just guys who wish we were out there every day. We have to sit for a while, so we look for things to do.
Knobloch, the runner at second base. Top of the first, no score. There's one out, and Kirby Puckett at the plate. Ground ball. Soho handles it. This time he makes the throw to Joyner. The runner moves over to third base. So with two down, Chili Davis coming up. Let's join John Saunders.
Budweiser takes us now to Texas. The Indians and Rangers 7-6 game in the seventh. Albert fell at the plate. The high fly ball to center field. Gary Pettis fields it. Chris James is tagging up. The throw comes to the plate. Rodriguez has it, but the hand is in there, says the umpire. Rodriguez obviously in disagreement. It's tied in the seventh. Back to Chris and Jerry.
All right, John, thank you. We saw the number on Palmeiro at 352, so Puckett a little more than 20 points behind Palmeiro in the batting race. Chili Davis, what a year he has had. 20 pounds lighter than he was last year. Just in tip-top physical shape. the former Angel, and he'd like to haunt his old mates right here as he signed a new look free agent over the winter. Essentially, it was almost a Gaetti for Chili Davis trade, although both were new look free agent signees. That's the way it worked out. And Chili is having a banner year. He's currently enjoying a 14-game hitting streak in which he's hit over 400. He has been a missing ingredient for the Minnesota Twins. That would be an understatement. 74 RBIs. There's a strike call.
Finley appears to be throwing quite hard. Neither Puckett nor Chili Davis have been able to get the bat out in front. Not only is he throwing hard, he's awfully deceptive tonight.
0-2 pitch. Inside. Well, one reason he may be throwing hard is he was moved back. He was supposed to go Saturday, but his left toe, his push-off toe, has been bothering him all year. He missed the start Saturday, so he hasn't gone for 8 days here, and he may be strong. He certainly looks that way. Foul back. Charles Theodore Davis, born in Kingston, Jamaica. Really grew up here in Los Angeles, went to Dorsey High School in LA. Came up as a guy with stardom written all over him as a San Francisco Giant. Inside, 2-2. His best average was .315. That's back in '84 as a Giant. Here as an Angel, in '88 and '89, he drove in 90 runs both years. 93 one year, 90 another. That's his best RBI mark. He's looking to shatter that and maybe hit the century mark. He shatters more than that. This one goes back. Gone! Did we say that Chili Davis wanted to haunt his old mates? He just did so, and for the second time in the two-game series, the Twins are scoring in the first inning. It's 2-0 Twins, still in the top of the first.
A breaking pitch that Finley leaves up and out over the plate. Davis, a better high ball hitter, as most switch hitters are, from the right side, drives this ball out to dead center field. A two-run homer in the first inning.
Chili's 26th home run of the year. That's a career best. And the error by Soho gives Davis a chance, and Doug Rader, Darren Johnson, and the Angel Brain Trust have seen this before. Soho snares the liner by Brian Harper, but not until the damage was done. Chili Davis's two-run homer has given the Twins a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the first, Chili Davis's long blast to center field has given the AL West leading Twins the 2-0 lead over the Angels, who come to the plate with this lineup, looking to snap a 6-game losing streak. Luis Polonia leads off in left field. Luis Soho batting second at second base. Wally Absor, Bean Joyner at first. Dave Winfield, one homer shy of 400 in cleanup. Dave Parker at DH. Gary Gaetti, the former Twin, hitting sixth. Dave Gallagher in center field. Ron Tingley to start behind the plate. Dickie Schofield having a good year at short for the Angels, and making his first major league start, Willie Banks. Banks, the #1 pick of the Minnesota Twins in 1987, the first pitcher overall chosen that year. 23 years of age, from Jersey City, New Jersey. Pitched 2 innings in relief last week in mop-up in New York, and now makes his first major league start. What's going through his head right now, Jerry?
It's a mixture of excitement, of anticipation. You have finally reached the point that you thought about when you were a kid, and all those games you played as a child.
And Luis Polonia says, welcome to the big leagues, son. You've now given up your first base hit as a starter. So Polonia on first with Soho coming up, and here's the defense behind young Willie Banks.
Gene Larkin at first base, Chuck Knobloch at second, Greg Gagne with a 74-game airless streak at short. Third base is Scotty Leyes. In the outfield, it's Dan Gladden, Kirby Puckett in center field, and Shane Mack rounding out the lineup in right. Behind the plate, it's Brian Harper. And what a job he's done.
Again. Once again, what a job he's done. Unsung Brian Harper. Here's Soho, whose error gave Chili Davis a chance to come to the plate. Chili made him pay for it. Soho's average down at 56. And Banks trying to keep Polonia on board. Willie Banks off to a slow start this year in AAA Portland, but was 7-1 in his last 8 decisions before they called him up. That one past Larkin. Polonia around second base as Mack comes up with the ball in right. Fires in to keep Soho at first, but very quickly the Angels are trying to answer. With none out, they have runners on the corners.
Last night, after the Twins jumped out to a 5-run lead in the first inning, the Angels bit by bit came back, closed the score to 5-3 when the Twins came up with 200 runs to break the game wide open. Tonight seems to be a replay of that game. Give up 2 in the first, a single past the first baseman Gene Larkin. Angels have the runners on first and third. Another attempted comeback and to try to set themselves straight.
Wally Joyner up. Banks hits the inside corner with a strike. Banks, primarily known as a fastball pitcher, but he has a sneaky curve, doesn't he, Jerry?
He has 2 fastballs, actually, Chris. A 4-seamer that he throws into a left-hander and a 2-seamer that he uses to keep away from a left-hander.
Well, Joyner read that perfectly. He strokes a base hit to center. 3 straight hit for the Angels, and it's a 2-1 game as Polonia scores.
The Angels are an experienced ball club. They know that they have to score some runs to win tonight. They haven't been scoring runs at all in this homestand. They seem to smell the chance when they have runners on first and third, nobody out. They haven't just been connecting in order to score those runs. Tonight, 3 consecutive hits. Now the Angels have something going, something that's been missing for quite a while.
Willie Banks has given up 3 straight hits, and standing at the plate, the imposing figure of Dave Winfield. Hit home run number 399 last night. Will this be a night for history? Curveball missed outside. Winfield right now stands tied with Al Kaline at 23rd lifetime. He would become only the 23rd man to hit 400 homers if he gets one tonight. Here are some of the names immediately ahead for Dave Winfield. 1-0 pitch. There's a strike. Last night, with his 21st home run and 399 lifetime, the solo homer gave Winfield 1,578 RBIs, tying him with a decent second baseman named Rogers Hornsby. Decent. I say that with tongue firmly implanted in cheek. Just having your name with Rogers Hornsby is rather impressive. That gives you an idea of what Winfield has done for his career. And as he said before the game, I'm not done. I've got a lot more to do. I'm not looking at 400 as a real milestone, although he might have a smile on his face if it leaves the park. Way ahead of that one. He was thinking the downs, and the count is 2-2.
In addition to a fastball, 2 different fastballs that Willie Banks has. He has a curveball and a circle change. That was the circle change, and he has a good one. 9-6 in Portland, their AAA affiliate. They feel he's ready for the big leagues. Has a big league fastball and plenty of promise.
Down low, the count is full. It's a 2-1 Twins lead. We've had plenty of excitement right out of the gates. Young Willie Banks trying to record his first out as a starter. The Phenom. I said he was 23 years of age. I was looking at his number. He's 22 years old. And they expect some big things for him in the years to come. He's in a tough spot right now. Winfield breaks the bat. Larkin will handle it himself. Both runners move up. So with 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position for Dave Parker, and here's John.
Talking about Dave Winfield gunning for home run number 400 as Budweiser takes us now to Oakland. Well, Jose Canseco could be a guy to reach there someday, especially if he keeps this up. Number 30 on the year, second only in the majors to Cecil Fielder, who has 32. Oakland on top of Seattle, 1-0 in the third. Back to Chris and Jerry.
Jose, it's number 30 out. We'll see those two teams next week at the Kingdome. Our first jaunt up there. Hotel California expands to other states. Here's Dave Parker trying to knock the 2 runners home to give the Angels a lead. Parker, when we had the Angels several times earlier this year, was right around the 200 range. So an average of 234 if you factor in that he was at about 195 through the end of May. It means that Parker has been swinging a good bat. One of the few Angels since the break to be doing so. There's the fastball for a strike. Parker actually hit 300 in July, so he was one of the bright spots at the plate for the Angels.
Gallagher is another bright spot for the Angels, hitting over 300 this year. Wally Joyner hitting 300. Polonia at 287. They've got plenty of hits. It's just that they haven't gotten the key hits to drive in runs. As a result, the pitching struggles a little bit. They lose the middle part of the plate, try to be a little more fine, pitch the ball to the corners, miss a little bit.
0-2 pitch to Parker. So Willie Banks, after giving up 3 straight hits, gets Winfield on a ground out and strikes out Parker on 3 straight pitches. Maybe he just got to pitch to guys 6'6" or bigger.
That seems to be the requirement in the first inning. But the requirement for Parker here with the infield back is to get the ball into the outfield, a fly ball somehow to bring in a run. Sees a changeup from Willie Banks way out in front, and Parker becomes the first strikeout victim for Willie Banks.
Gary Gaetti, longtime Minnesota Twin, key member of their '87 championship team, now an Angel. Homered last night to give him 13 for the year. Curveball fools Gaetti, strike 1. So again, the Angels, here's a chance, 3 straight hits. They have things going, but yet if they strand the 2 runners in scoring position, here's a chance for them to do some damage against the youngster, but they would come up with only 1 run. Doesn't Doug Rader know that predicament? Gaetti goes down the right field line, but it's foul. So Banks ahead 0-2.
He was ahead of Parker 0-2, struck him out. Go back to Winfield. The count went to 3-2, but he mustered up a fastball that Winfield caught up with and hit on a ground ball to second base, and all he could, or to first base, and all he could do is advance the runners. He's pitching in the middle of the lineup pretty tough here.
I would say so. He's caught himself in time. See what he does with the 0-2 count. Soho at third, Joyner at second. This ball way outside, 1-2. Banks can certainly bring it. In 1989, 2 years ago in the California League at Visalia, 173 Ks on 174 innings pitched. Of course, that was single A ball, but that gives you an idea that he has some heat. Gaetti fouls it off to stay alive. Gaetti visiting some of his friends before the start of this series. Ken Herbeck, they were best of friends. And fell apart a little. Herbeck went over to the Angels clubhouse Monday as soon as the Twins got to the ballpark to look for Gaetti. Herbeck sitting tonight against the tough lefty Finley. Tom Kelly giving him the night off, or at least from the start. Did he go around? Yes, sir. So the Angels start off with 3 straight hits, but they get only a run. We've played 1. It's 2-1 Twins. Carew, 12 years a Minnesota Twin, 7 years a California Angel, and on August 4th, 1985, became the 16th player in Major League Baseball history to garner 3,000 hits with that base hit. 15 straight years hitting over 300. once hit .388 for the Twins in 1977. Carew, honored tonight as he was inducted into the Angel Hall of Fame. Earlier went into the Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown. That was before the game, and it was fun to see Carew, one of the honorary captains of the All-Star game. The weirdest sight of the All-Star game as we begin the second inning with Shane Mack batting against Chuck Finley. I think the strangest sight in Toronto, here's the inside corner, 1-1, was Rod Carew on the field in a Cleveland Indians uniform. I'm saying, well, gee, did he play a couple games at the end of his career? No, he's an instructor with the Indians now. That's the uniform he wore. Never wore it when he played. It was bizarre, to say the least. And I'll tell you what, he could still hit 300 if he was playing today, I think. He looks in great shape.
He looks good in any uniform. Graces the uniform, any uniform that he's worn.
Maybe the Indians would win the pennant if he was playing for him this year. Shane Mack, since the All-Star break, has been smoking. Hitting it better than 400 since the All-Star break. 407. #1 pick of the Padres back in '84. Finally starting to enjoy the stardom of which he was predicted. Hits this one pretty well to right center field. Back goes Gallagher. Back he goes. Makes the catch in front of the fence. Mack gave it a ride, but couldn't quite get it out of the park. Always in the park, John Saunders.
Had a big lead in this game, but in the 6th, Mel Rojas to Ray Langford down the line in right field. Rex Hudler comes in to score to tie the game at 6 apiece. That's where they stand now in the 8th as Langford has a triple. Back to you.
All right, John, Gene Larkin up. So for Mel tonight in that game, there were no days of wine and Rojas. Larkin looks at a ball outside. It's 1-1. We talked about some big names before, and Winfield tying Rogers Hornsby for 20th in the all-time RBI list. What about Gene Larkin breaking all of the records at Columbia University held by Lou Gehrig? That's pretty good company. So the Ivy Leaguer Larkin, the start tonight against the left-handed Finley, as Herbeck gets a rest. Kelly does that this year. Rests Herbeck against some tough lefties. And Larkin draws the free pass. One down. The Twins have a base runner. And speaking of platoon, a straight platoon at third for the Twins. Against righties, Mike Piarulo plays. Against the lefties, it's youngster Scotty Leyes, who's in there tonight.
Leyes hitting .291 on the season, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, but the production they've gotten out of third base between the two of them, Pags and Leyes, it's .290, 7 home runs and 34 RBIs. Pretty good production.
This was a big question position with the departure of Gary Gaetti. Pags, who had never hit over .239 in his career, flirting with .300, and the type of attitude that is infectious. Why is it? The proverbial gamer. And so is this man, this youngster, Scotty Leyes, 25 years of age. He's been playing some outstanding defense. Both of them have a third. Really, the Twins have played some outstanding defense all year long. They and the Angels are the best 2 defensive clubs in the American League. The Twins actually, if you want to carry it out to like 9 decimal points, like pi, they are slightly ahead of the Angels. There's a grounder in the hole. Tough play for Schofield. Safe. Soho was off the bag, and a good call made by Tim Tschida at second base. Already Luis Soho having a rough evening.
The only out that Schofield was going to get on this play was to second base. Schofield had to go deep in the hole. Fields the ball, and then while still with his body moving toward the outfield, throws to Soho at second. And just the force of his body coming across the bag, he can't stay under long enough to obtain the out. Tries to the phantom play somewhere in the neighborhood. Well, it doesn't fool umpire Tim Tschida.
The Phantom of the Opera. And they scored a base hit, so Leyes gets a gift that time. And so with 2 on, the number 9 hitter, but a pretty good number 9 hitter, Greg Gagne with a spoon, the shortstop, fouls one back.
Just look at the batting averages of this starting lineup. 277, there's a 330, a 314. The lowest batting average is Gagne's 250. Now, you take a look at a lot of teams putting lineups on the field, and they could say our lowest batting average is 250. I think most managers would be happy with something like that. It shows that everybody has been contributing.
0-1 pitch. That misses. It's 1-1.
And even with that 250 average, his contribution has been in the field. A 74-game errorless streak, broke his own Twins record. And every game he plays without making an error, of course, it's another record in the Twins record book.
Swings and misses. We were joking with Gags yesterday when Carew was in there. It's an interesting dialect that goes on the left side of the Twins infield. Only we New Englanders can understand what they're talking about. Both of them from Massachusetts, Gagne from Fall River. And there's Pags from nearby Melrose, Mass. There's a little flare that Larkin will stop at third on, as Winfield has the good arm and Larkin not the good wheels. So the Twins have the sacks full with the top of the order coming up. Here's our cleanup hitter, John Saunders.
Speaking of cleaning up, Wade Taylor facing Frank Thomas on first and Carlton Fisk at the plate, who just clobbers this home run. The White Sox started 3.5 back. They trailed in this game 5-0. You can see now they put a little bit of a run on. Back to you.
So Fudge with some fudge tonight for the White Sox. Dan Gladden hit by pitch to start the game, and he fouls the first pitch off. Gladden, like Chili Davis, came up through the Giants organization. Hit .351 for the Giants in 1984, playing about half, 2/3 of the season. Lifetime .275 hitter and outstanding in the postseason. Almost drove in a pair there, but that one fouled down the third baseline. And with the bases loaded, well, that speaks for itself.
That bat comes to life, doesn't it?
Comes to life in the postseason. If he gets into postseason play, if the Twins do, watch out for him. He's hit in 8 straight games. That means all 7 of the 87 World Series he got to hit it. Including a grand slam in game 1. Sends this one to right field. Winfield makes the play. Here comes Larkin. The throw. Not in time. The Twins lead it 3-1. Pretty good throw, but the ball hit well enough by Gladden. And Larkin scores. Tingley trying to nonchalant it, make Larkin maybe ease up a little bit, not think there was a play at the plate.
No, the Twins won't make a fundamental mistake like that. The on-deck hitter, Annette Scott Knobloch, is going to let him know to slide, and he does here and is safe as a result. A 3-1 lead by Minnesota, taking advantage of a walk, an infield hit, and a 2-strike hit by the 9th hitter, Greg Gagne.
So runners on the corners, and Chuck Knobloch is up. Reached on an error and scored on Chili Davis's home run. The ball gets past Tingley. It's 4-1 Twins. Scotty Leyes alert and made the quick dash home. And before Tingley could hit Finley with the ball, Leyes was home, and the hustling Twins have busted it to a 3-run lead.
From this center field angle, it appears that Tingley got crossed up. Looked for the pitch to do something, and it didn't. It was a fastball, hit off the bottom part of his mitt, got away far enough for Scotty Leyes to score at first base.
Gagne moved up on the pass ball to second base. So The Angels not playing good fundamental baseball. You're seeing the difference in the two teams right front and center tonight. Soho sloppy at second base. Tingley sloppy on that play. Angels had the first three guys all with base hits, yet they get only one run against the man making his first start. Schofield to Joyner, and the Twins are gone. Now for the second inning tonight, they plate a deuce. Going to the bottom of the second, 4-1 Minnesota. Back in Anaheim, and the Angels trying to dig out of a hole that's seen them lose 6 in a row overall, 7 in a row here in this park, and a 4-1 hole in particular in this game against the young phenom Willie Banks, who throws one all the way to the backstop. A rough game for Luis Soho, a point not missed by manager Doug Rader. This is a conversation between innings while we're away. And of course, some talk as Dave Gallagher leads off the second inning. Some talk, and it is true, that last week Buck Rogers had lunch with the Angels higher-ups. It was kind of a fact-finding lunch, if you will. But a very respected manager, fired by the Expos this year. Does that mean Raiders in jeopardy? I don't think so. But yet here's a team that fired its general manager 1 month into the season, Mike Port. So the count is full on Dave Gallagher. To blame the non-hitting on Doug Rader would be a big mistake. There's a shot by Gallagher to the gap. But Gladden over quickly to hold Gallagher at first base. So again, the Angels begin with some hitting, something they haven't done in recent games. 3 singles to start the first inning, and Gallagher a shot to left center field for a single to start the second. Which brings up catcher Ron Tingley, playing in place of the slumping Lance Parrish. But Tingley's .205 average, not the kind of number that would think that, okay, we're going to sit Parrish and now we're going to get better production out of the catcher's spot. Parrish since the break hitting at 133. So Tingley gets a chance, and a chance to atone for his past ball. Bobby Knopp giving the signs.
Angels, a lot of little mistakes. You saw a couple by Luis Soho, the pass ball by Tingley, resulting in a couple of runs or leading up to a couple of runs. The Twins, on the other hand, good fundamental ball, and all you had to do was just look at that ball in the gap that Gallagher hit. Gladden over there quickly to stop it, prevent Gallagher from getting a leadoff double. Also take a look at the first inning. 3 straight hits, only able to get 1 run out of it. Especially with your 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up. Or 4, 5, and 6.
This was a team, Jerry, that played very good fundamental baseball for most of the season. They and the Twins rated the top in defense statistically. Starting pitching for certainly the first 3 have been very good. Brian Harvey, all-star closer, by the way, not here tonight. Grandmother passed away, so he's out of town for the funeral. Our condolences to Brian and the family. Eichhorn's had a very good year as set up. So you look on paper and you say, you know, I wouldn't mind going to spring training with pretty much this lineup. It's not as if you're looking at a team and say, wow, they've been awful all year. What changes do you make? This is a real head scratcher, what's happened to the Angels. There's a shot foul. Hopefully nobody got hurt on that one.
They've had problems all season long looking for a 5th starter. They've tried Fetters, Lewis, Gray, and Valenzuela. And among them, 1 and 11, an earned run average of 8.67 in 15 starts. In fact, they're looking for a 5th starter so much to the extent that they sent Floyd Bannister to Palm Springs to get back in shape to start.
Tingley is punched out looking, and there's 1 down. With Schofield coming up, here's John Saunders.
Cubs in the Phillies' 11th inning. Les Lancaster 2-2 game. Bases full, and Dale Murphy ends the game in a hurry. You can see the outfield was drawn in, so even if it drops in off the wall, it wins the game. But why not do it in dramatic fashion? Grand slam, 5th on his career. 6-2, the Phillies win. Back to Chris and Jerry.
Murph, also a guy that has the shot and very close to 400 home runs. Winfield one away. Will this be the night? Schofield. Did he check? Yes, he did, says Gary Cedarstrom at first. So it's a ball. Playing pretty deep in left field is Dan Gladden for the number 9 hitter Schofield. Don't you think, Jerry?
He also is playing on an angle facing the foul line.
This is bounced foul. Tomorrow night, the fun continues here on ESPN. The Dodgers and Reds continue their series in Cincinnati. Dodgers coming back tonight. Will be seen in Los Angeles, among most everywhere else in the country, except I guess for Cincy. So the Reds and the Dodgers, 7:30 tomorrow night. So the Dodgers, boy, they really needed a shot in the arm. They're on the road since the All-Star break have been awful, just awful. 2-12 going into tonight's game.
Fortunately for them, the Reds in Atlanta haven't been playing all that well.
Here's a slow grounder that Knobloch will play over to Larkin. Gallagher moves up. And with 2 down, Polonia coming up. Take a look at some of the other scores. Dodgers winning tonight 5-2, only their 3rd road win since the All-Star break. Braves battering the Giants. That loss on Sunday night that the Giants had at Cincinnati. They go to the problem of hitting a 3-run homer off Dibble. Kevin Bass did it. Then Downs surrenders the tying shot by Larkin. And then Brantley was awful in the 9th inning. And now they've gone down to Atlanta and been hammered twice. That really put the skids on what was a tremendous comeback effort by the Giants. It's the time of the year, Jerry, when some of the teams start to drop out for good. The dog days of August. Polonia, the grounder to short. Gagne to Larkin, and the Angels waste the leadoff single. We've played 2 here at Anaheim, 4-1 Twins.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. By the Diamond Council of America. Is 2 months' salary too much to spend on something that lasts forever? And by Sherwin-Williams. There's only one paint this good, and there's only one place you can get it. The pros know. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
Top of the 3rd, and Chuck Finley, 10-2 lifetime against the Twins, is down 4-1, and facing Puckett, Chili Davis, and Brian Harper, the 3-4-5 hitters for the Twins. Puckett swings at the first pitch, hits it to center field. Dave Gallagher corrals it. 1 pitch, 1 out. So Chili Davis strides to the plate, and when he did so in the first inning, with a man on, Chili unloaded with home run number 26 right here. And this was a no-doubter, as Gallagher knew it. 400 plus over the center field fence. So Chili Davis now at a 15-game hitting streak, now 26 homers, 76 RBIs, and Finley starts him with a ball up high. In his 10th season, and maybe his most peaceful season in his mind. He was relaxed before he had any idea that the Twins would be contenders this year. He was happy with himself, happy with the shape he was in, and was determined to have a big year, and he's done all of the above. Smacks it, but
You pointed out earlier that he lost 20 pounds, but yet he looks just as big. He's even more muscular than what he was before. And it shows when he's up at the plate. Much more relaxed when he gets his pitch. And now he's more than just a good fastball hitter. He can drive just about any pitch from either side of the plate.
count is 3-1 as Finley is pitching gingerly to Chili. Skies it to right field. Big Dave Winfield is there. 2 up, 2 down. in the third. And Bryant Harper coming up. Harper lined out to second base his first time up. Harper, one of the unsung Twins, really a career minor leaguer until the last couple of seasons. In '89 had .325, getting the shot with the Twins. Last year hit .294, and this year very tough to strike out. Came into the game with a .314 average. Now the one out makes it .313. And he skies this one to Joyner. So for the first time tonight, the Twins are retired without any damage done. 4-1 Minnesota.
Yo, Morris Blackman here at the NBA Finals. See what makes Michael Jordan the best. Is it the shoes? It's gotta be the shoes. It's gotta be the shoes.
15-5 White Sox lead. So Alvaro Espinosa, the Yankee shortstop, is pitching here. Gets Robin Ventura, one of the hottest hitters in the game right now. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, getting Tim Raines as well. So 14-5 is the final. Back to Chris and Jerry.
Hey, John, is that Alvaro ESPN-osa? Could be. He got some quality airtime tonight. Luis Sojo having a tough night in the field. Singled his first time up this evening. Trying to get things going as the Angels here in the bottom of the third trail at 4-1. Two miscues by Sojo. One on what seemed to be a routine double play ball. The second batter of the game, Knobloch, and Sojo throws wide of first. They give the fielder's choice, but the batter Knobloch ended up going to second base. However, if he converts the double play, Chili Davis never bats, never hits the two-run homer. At least he won't in the first inning, and the Angels would have come up to the plate at least even. Instead, it opened up a two-run first on the homer, and the Angels were already behind. He then took his foot off the bag on a what they call a base hit to Scott Leyes on a force play at second. And the Twins end up scoring 2 runs in the second inning. There's Chili. Sojo looks at a strike. It's 2-1.
And while all of this is going on, young Willie Banks, making his first major league start, is doing quite a job.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up 3 rocket singles to open the game. But then when you record your first out as a starter against Winfield, and then you punch out Dave Parker and Gary Gaetti, you know you're in the bigs, and you know you found yourself. The Angels got only a run in the first. Count is full here to Sojo.
He fell behind Dave Gallagher 3-0 to lead off the second, and he's fallen behind Sojo 3-0 in the third. He's come back so far, and so let's see what happens.
Ground ball to Knobloch. Over to Larkin. 1 out. Let's look at young Willie Banks, 22 years of age.
It's a very compact motion. He's 6 foot tall, and he throws extremely hard. His power comes from his legs. Has great extension over the top of his shoulder on that fastball. I understand why he gets it up there 90 plus.
Wally Joyner way out in front of that one. Strike 1.
Makes his changeup effective is that he has the same arm speed as he does on his fastball.
It's easy to say, isn't it? But a lot of pitchers can't do that.
It takes a long time to develop a changeup and to develop it properly. See why he was a first-round draft choice. Scouts like to look for pitchers who have great velocity, because the feeling is among scouts is that you can teach a curveball, you can teach a changeup. You can't teach velocity.
Big change in his curveball. There you see the ball and strike ratio. Count is 0-2 to Joyner. We're talking to a pretty fair pitcher himself, Jim Cott, the Twins broadcaster before the game. Says that the Twins minor league pitching instructor, Gorman Heimler, worked on the curveball with Willie Banks at Portland as he K's Joyner right here. So there are 2 down. But before we tell that story, let's have John Saunders tell us the story.
Padres and the Astros. Adam Peterson in the first inning facing Luis Gonzalez with Biggio on first, just inside the line. So Biggio is off to the races. Tony Gwynn waiting for the ball. Biggio coming in easily to score. And the Astros have won 9 in a row. Phil's 7th straight. What's going on? Back to you.
The Astros making their annual pennant charge. Have won 9 in a row. Hey, congratulations. They're a nice bunch of guys and a bunch of good players. As Dave Winfield will not get homer 400 here. Won't even get to leg out a base hit. So a 1-2-3 inning for Willie Banks. He struck out 4 in 3 innings of work here. 4-1 Twins. The Dodgers against the Reds, but these are the Twins and the Angels, and Shane Mack sends one to the gap. Angels doing a nice job to hold him to a single. We had balls flying all over the place for about 8 ballparks.
That's just the way we like it here.
That's right.
We bring
anyway, let's bring
baseball
it to
of all sorts.
Let's bring it to this game, okay? Shane Mack hit one that Gallagher gave a good effort on. It went past him, but backed up nicely by Winfield, so Mack held to only a single. So Shane Mack 1 for 2 tonight. And Gene Larkin coming up. Larkin walked and scored on a sac fly by Gladden in the 2nd inning. It's the Dodgers and the Reds tomorrow night at 7:30, if you're wondering why you saw Darryl Strawberry. And that should be a good game as they've split the first 2 of their set. Pride of Columbia, the Lions, Gene Larkin. Went to the same school as our producer, Jay Cutler. No wonder Jay's all fired up tonight. That explains it. I know there's some look in his eye. We had a chance to talk about the Lions.
I think the telltale sign might have been lunch when they wore their letter sweaters.
Nice light blue, Columbia Lions. Here's a guy that hits better with runners nobody on than with runners aboard. So sometimes you can't figure. Rookie in '87, Larkin, one of, you don't remember him, but he was one of 7 men still on the Twins roster that own World Series rings. Of course, down at third base for the Angels, Gaetti has a Twins World Series ring from '87. 266 his rookie year. He's hitting the 260 range every year until this year when he's a little bit above it at 286. Bounce. Tingley does a nice job of making the play. Count is 3-1. 4-1 Twins. Top of the 4th inning. And we're hoping to have Rod Carew join us shortly. Might be able to have a pretty fair conversation about hitting, don't you think?
You think we'll understand anything that he's talking about? His concepts about hitting are so far advanced.
There goes the base runner, grounded into the hole. Nice play by Schofield, but with the runner going on the hit and run, he has nowhere to go. So good play by Schofield, but good fundamental play by the Twins. Schofield might have had a shot at second, although that would have been tough with a good runner in Mack. So an infield bounder, and there's 2 on with none out.
Twins aren't satisfied with just a 3-run lead, so they send the runner Shane Mack. Gene Larkin makes contact, tries to drive the ball through the left side of the infield. Schofield gets in the way, but has nowhere to throw it. Runners on first and second, top of the 4th inning, and it looks like Minnesota's going to strike again.
Scott Leyes singled, scored a run on a pass ball, the 4th Twins run back in the 2nd inning. Leyes hitting at 297. Finley steps off the rubber. There's all sorts of things going on. Joyner cheating way in at first. Gaetti in at third.
Remember, it's the bottom of the order. They might be bunting, but Gagne follows, then the top of the lineup.
They are bunting. Way inside. Leyes pulls it back and takes it for a ball.
Remember, it was Larkin and Leyes who came around to score in the 2nd inning. And the Angels took a 3-run lead in this ballgame. So they've gotten production from the bottom part of the lineup as well as the middle part.
Ron Gardenhire giving the signs down at third. Twins with some long names on the coach's box. Ron Gardenhire, Wayne Terwilliger. Neither of them fit on the back of the jersey. Way inside again. Almost hit him. And now Tingley calls for time. Finley offers one good inning in the third inning, but otherwise he really hasn't had the location, and part of it could be that toe we were talking about. He didn't know how it was going to be tonight. It's affected him all year. Remember, you're looking at the guy that was second the last 2 years. Second to Saberhagen, 89, second to Clemens last year in ERA. This year his ERA is much higher, despite the outstanding record at 14-5. His ERA is almost 4. He hasn't felt he's had the control, and Jerry, we've seen that tonight. So in an obvious bunting situation, it's now 3-0. Do you turn Leas around and have him smack at it?
Maybe give him one chance to swing the bat, and if the count goes 3-1, then maybe go back to the bunt. It's fun for us to sit up here and be managers, isn't it?
We don't get fired. Well, you do in this business too. Let me check myself on that one. 3-0 pitch. Leas was swinging away, but Finley misses on 4 pitches, and the bases are full for Greg Gagne. John, maybe you can bail the Angels out.
Not likely. But Southern California's other team, the Dodgers, with Darryl Strawberry, clobbering this 2-run home run, put the Dodgers in front to stay. They win it 5-2. We want to remind everyone, tomorrow night on Wednesday Night Baseball, Darryl Strawberry and the Dodgers against Barry Larkin and the Reds. Back to Chris and Jerry.
Gagne steps to the plate with the bases loaded. Thus far this year, he is 0-5 with the sacks full. Rene Latchman, or rather Marcel Latchman, the pitching coach, brother of Rene Latchman, third base coach of the A's, has a word with Finley and Tingley.
Chuck, battling his control, it appears that he's pushing both his breaking ball and his split finger pitch. You can see that the balls and strikes, they're almost equal. And when you fall behind hitters like the Twins, as hot as they are, you're only asking for trouble. As you said, it might be that big toe that's affecting his pitching tonight.
He gets a strike over to Gagne. You're saying, well, the one thing Gagne won't do is hit a grand slam. That's wrong. Gagne has hit as many as 14 homers in one season. He did that in '88. Has 6 this year. So he can drill it out. Count is 1-1.
That's the off-speed pitch that Finley's having a problem with. It appears he's pushing the ball, at least from our center field camera. And when you push the ball, you tend to let it sail just a little bit. Hence, you have a lot of pitches inside, missing the strike zone that normally are strikes.
There's a grounder foul. So this is really a crucial inning for the California Angels. Their ace, Chuck Finley, along with Langston, in big trouble. But at 4-1, it's striking range. The way the team's been swinging the bat, a couple more runs here, things would look pretty bleak. Every game they lose to the Twins is another game gone in the standings. Got a piece of it.
Got a piece of everybody there. Tingley,
right.
John Shulock.
The ball. He'll probably give us a piece of his mind if we ask him.
Especially after getting a foul tip off his toe. A few choice words to say.
Count is 1-2. The bases loaded, none out. 4-1 Twins. Top of the 4th inning here in Anaheim. Foul back. We'll do it again. Seventh year in the bigs. Greg Gagne. There you see the runners. Mack at third. Larkin at second. Leas at first. Two pitch. Foul back and out of play. We'll do it again.
The Angels defense at short and second are playing back, hoping for a double play. They'll give up the run. Gaetti is even with a bag at third. Joyner even with a bag at first. On a ground ball to either first or third, they're going to come home, try to get the force out. Of course, a ground ball to Finley automatically comes back to Tingley with hopes of making a double play home to first.
Hit pretty well to right field. Winfield is there. Mack has the good speed. The throw will be cut off by Joyner. They have a play at second base. It's a double play as they tag out the base runner, Scott Lance. So that time, alert play by the Angels. They give up the run, but Leyes was caught trying to go up to second. So it's a double play and now 2 down.
If you're scoring at home, and I'm certain that everybody is, it's a sacrifice fly, RBI. The play goes 9-3-4. A strong throw by Dave Winfield, a definite fundamental compliment to him. He hits the cutoff man. Joyner wisely takes it, knowing that Mack is going to score anyway, and they're able to get Scotty Leyes attempting to advance from first to second on the fly ball.
Dan Gladden sends a grounder to Soho. So a good job by Finley after the bases were loaded with none out. He gives up only a run. But the Twins do add to their lead. They lead it 5-1. Angels 5-1. And as Dave Parker steps to the plate against the youngster Willie Banks, it's our pleasure to be joined by Hall of Famer, both for baseball and tonight California Angels, Rod Carew. And I guess you can't lose in this game when the Twins play the Angels, right?
No, I can't, Chris. Somebody's got to win.
You figured that out among many other parts of the baseball. Here's Rod. Here as we're seeing us from center field. Parker grounding out to Larkin. Gaetti coming up. You have mixed emotions when you watch these two teams play?
I do, because I still have a lot of friends on the Angels ball club, and you know, after all, I spent 14 years in the Twins organization, and the manager Tom Kelly and I sort of grew up together. So there's an emotional roller coaster watching both of these teams play.
Do you? And tonight is a night where you're honored by the Angels. So I mean, I'm not trying to pin you into a corner, but here the Twins are in first place. You got to have a lot of, almost like a little boy in you, that you're enjoying their success, watching them from afar.
I am, you know, because they started off the season a little rough, and all of a sudden they went through that winning streak, and things picked up for them, and they've maintained their poise, you know, throughout the last month and a half of the season, and that's why they're in first place.
They say you and Kelly grew up together. You mean in the farm system and the...
Right. Tom and I played in the minor leagues together, and in the early years with the Twins, he came up, and we spent some time in Minnesota together. So, you know, we've become friends over the years.
Gaetti strikes out, so they're 2 down for Dave Gallagher coming up. I imagine when you watch a guy like a Kirby Puckett bat for the Twins, yes, he's a different style hitter than you, but you enjoy, and certainly his attitude to the game. Is he...
From day
is he the guy
one,
that you enjoy the most when you watch them play?
From day one, Chris, you know, the first time I ever met Kirby, he came down to first base. He says, "Hi, Mr. Carew, I'm going to be a great hitter." You know, it was kind of, you know, here's a young kid. But, I mean, he goes out and he plays with intensity, you know. On defense, offense, he plays with a lot of intensity. So I think the fans really enjoy watching him play.
You were so close to getting to the World Series with the Angels. 79 and 82 really was the tough one when you were 1 game away against the Brewers. I guess you always, of all the things you've done, you wondered what it would have been like at that sort of a dance.
You know, it's funny because at the Hall of Fame, that's the thing that really, you know, I sat down and I thought about having a World Series ring, you know. So when we went to the stack for the Hall of Famers, I think it was on Saturday night, and they gave me my Hall of Fame ring. I said, this beats being, you know, beats the World Series ring, because, you know, there are a lot of players that are going to have the opportunity to get a World Series ring, but how many players are going to be able to get the Hall of Fame ring? But, on the other hand, you spend...
I tell you what, we'll continue in a moment. Harper makes the play. We're visiting with Rod Carew. It's 5-1 Twins. We'll be back. Back here at Anaheim, it's 5-1 Twins over the Angels as we head to the top of the 5th inning, and the young second baseman, Chuck Knobloch, coming up to lead off the 5th for the Twins. A man that was always still looked like he could be a young second baseman for the Minnesota Twins. Rod Carew has joined Jerry Royce and yours truly, Chris Berman. And we were talking between the breaker. We mentioned the earlier, Rod. You in an Indians uniform at the All-Star break. But that's who you work for now, right?
Well, I do, Chris, you know, and I called the Indians and I asked them permission if I could wear the uniform at the All-Star game. If I was with the Twins or Angels, whatever ball club, I would have put the uniform on.
Knobloch flies to center. There's one down, and here's your guy, Kirby Puckett. Jerry asked the question you did about Kirby's comment.
Now, I know that you come from the old school, and when a rookie comes up to an established star at first base and makes a statement like that, I'm going to be a great hitter someday, you had to have a classic response.
I looked at him and smiled because Tony O had told me so much about him and told me that he's a great kid and that he had this outgoing personality and confidence about himself. So when he told me he was going to be a great hitter, I looked at him and smiled and I said, I wish you luck.
He's a great hitter, though.
He sure is. He's a tremendous player. He comes out to play.
Looking at Puckett, you hit .388 back in 1977. I don't know that Kirby would be the guy, but can we ever see a .400 season? You flirted with it. Will that ever happen again, Rod?
You know, I've always said that the next guy I feel that has a great chance of doing it has to be Wade Boggs, because he walks a lot, takes a lot of pitches. He's not going to walk up there and swing unless there's a strike on it. If it's 3-1, you rarely see Boggs swinging a pitch that's 3-1. He can allow the pitcher to get to 3-2. So he's going to be the next guy, I feel, because of his discipline and his patience.
But you think it could happen?
I think it could happen.
You think expansion could have anything to do with that because of the dilution?
Well, expansion might have a lot to do with it, too, because you're going to get a lot of young pitchers coming up during expansion time, and they're going to have to familiarize themselves and get themselves acclimated with the big leagues, and it's going to take a while for that to happen.
We're talking with Rod Carew here in the middle of the top of the 5th inning. Count is 3-2 to Kirby Puckett, 5-1 Twins. Let's see what Kirby does. A shot past Finley. Nice play by Schofield, and there's 2 down. Chili Davis, who homered in the first inning, a 2-run shot coming up. Here's the play again by Schofield.
Ball's hit so hard, Chuck Finley doesn't have a chance to react except to get out of the way, but it's not hit hard enough to get past Dick Schofield, who has great range. Turns and throws to first base to retire the speedy Kirby Puckett. Not fast enough to beat out that ground ball, is he?
No, you know, and what's amazing about the play, Schofield took his time, got himself under control, and made a pretty good throw to first base.
You're looking for a job? That sounds like you know exactly what an analyst is supposed to do, and you did that so well.
I think if I do get another job, it might be down on the field, probably being a hitting instructor or probably a rover for some major league club.
Would you ever want to manage Rod? Whoa, Chili sends one to center field, but gets under a little bit this time as Gallagher makes the play, and there are 3 down. So the Twins go down 1-2-3, heading to the bottom of the 5th. It's 5-1 Minnesota. The Twins lead the Angels 5-1 with Tingley, Schofield, and Polonia coming up. Rod Carew has joined us. Jerry, you got to avoid him except in an all-star game. Go ahead.
I have to ask this question. The toughest pitchers, if you had just a handful quickly.
Rudy May was one. He was the main guy, Ron Guidry. And out of the bullpen, Sparky Live. He had a real tough slider, and he just couldn't hold up on it. But those guys, I feel, were 3 of the toughest on me. Well, Scott McGregor at Baltimore threw a lot of easy stuff, easy to get me out with.
You would have been one of those hitters. The only thing to do is throw it down the middle of the plate and hope that you hit it at somebody.
Well, you know, it's funny because in '77, when I was having that great year, Connie Ryan told Jim Sundberg, tell him every pitch that's coming. And every time he told me about a pitch, I would look back and I would say, don't try to trick me. The next pitch is fastball, I'd get a base hit to left field. Next pitch he tells me to breaking ball, I'd get a base hit up the middle. So Ryan threw his hand up in the air and he says, well, wherever you throw the ball, this guy's going to hit it. So I went 4 for 5 that night and walked off the field laughing.
One of about 100 times you went 4 for 5. When you talk hitting, We talk about the man that's joined us, Rod Carew. As Schofield comes to play. Rod, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on honors well deserved. Major League Baseball Hall of Fame tonight, the Angels Hall of Fame.
Thanks very much, Chris. Thanks very much, Jerry. You guys are having a great time up here. So
you've noticed, huh?
Oh yeah. Back, 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 back.
You do that well too. I
think we're both in trouble already. All right, Rod. Thank you. We'll see you along the way. In whatever uniform you want to wear, it's up to you. One of the best hitters in the history of baseball, Rod Carew, has joined us. We've got a 5-1 game here, and that's a treat. That's just the treat. I mean,
anything
we could have fun talking a little hitting, you think, with Rod, a little bit?
No, we would do a lot of listening while Rod talked hitting.
I didn't mean we would talk about it. Dickie Schofield trying to do some hitting as the Angels trail it 5-1. Tingley led off the inning with a walk. And so the bottom of the Angels lineup trying to do some damage as Willie Banks has lost it. 7 straight balls here at least to start. Dick Such goes out the pitching coach.
There's one problem that a young pitcher might have in a situation like this, leading 5-1 in the 5th inning, is that you lose your concentration. What a young pitcher needs to learn is to somehow collect his thoughts, whether standing behind the mound or talking to his catcher or whatever he has to do. Remember, throw strikes, get the ball over the plate. They've got you a 4-run lead. Chances are, as hot as the Twins are, going to score you more. Dick Such probably told him just the same thing.
And in no such terms, that's what Dick just told him. I searched for that one for a while. Still talking hitting with Rod Carew. You figure Schofield taking all the way in 8 straight balls. The Angels may have something going here. Always having something going is John Saunders.
Expos had something going, a 5-1 lead over the Cardinals, but here in extra innings, that's Brett Barbary mishandling this ball off Milt Thompson's bat. And then a Ray Langford towards first. Larry Walker drawn in, but it bounces off his chest, and so the winning run comes in to score 7-6 in 10. Back to Chris and Jerry.
5 errors, sacre bleu, for les Expos. 9 straight balls thrown by the youngster Willie Banks. Go ahead, Jerry.
As the phone rings in the Twins bullpen, though they do have a 4-run lead, they know that the Angels can explode. They are due. You can look at it from 2 points of view. They're due to have a big inning.
Luis Polonia looks at ball 2. And here comes Knobloch in to talk with Willie Banks. I started to say the story as there's Paul Abbott getting up to throw. Paul Crusader Abbott getting up in the bullpen. As opposed to Jim Hay Abbott for the Angels. And while we're at it, this is Willie Banks of the Mississippi, okay? His first major league start, that's his nickname. The Metrodome is right on the banks of the Mississippi. He pitches for the team. That's the nickname. He's now thrown 11 straight balls. 3-0 the count to Polonia. What are the chances that Polonia would have a green light here? 2, slim and none?
Slim and none.
There's a strike.
Maybe Dick Such, when he came out, talked to Willie Banks and told him, enough already. Throw strikes, get the ball over the plate.
You can tell we've got some stuff stored for the late innings here. Polonia tried to draw ball 4 from John Shulock by just walking away, and he's got the little smile. He knows he tried to work the ump. That was a close one.
Well, you notice that he bent over just a little bit more, tried to coax a walk any way they can. The Angels need base runners because they've got the middle of the lineup coming up.
Banks blows it by Polonia, so after going 3-0 on Polonia, he K's it. 6th strikeout for Willie Banks.
When in doubt, you've got to make one pitch in a key part of a ball game. Willie Banks goes to his fastball, and a good fastball. Makes it unhittable for Luis Polonia.
Doug Rader knows that the Angels had 3 straight hits to begin the first. They got only 1 run. They had Banks on the ropes. They still potentially have him on the ropes here. But the Angels are acting like rope-a-dopes. They're just not coming through. As Soho looked at strike one. So 4 straight strikes from Banks. Skies it. Larkin in fair ground. Makes the play. And there are 2 out. Wally Joyner coming up. The Dodgers and Reds coming up tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. Thorny and Soupy on the call of this very important game in the National League West. The straw man going deep tonight.
Well, Larkin put on a show on Sunday night, didn't he? 5 RBIs in that game that the Reds won against the Giants, 6-5. Big win for the Reds. It really was.
Wally Joyner singled in the first, struck out in the third. Harper keeps it in front of him. Since the All-Star break, Wally Joyner, one of the many Angels, who's really been scuffling. Way over 300 beforehand, hitting .220 since the break. So Wally's average is now down to .301. I mean, I say down, he's having a really nice season. But he among the many Angels that has not been in heaven since the break. Count is 2-0. Wally looking for a pitch he can drive right here. Does it foul out of play? Yes, just past a couple rows behind where Leas can reach.
In a count that really favors the batter. 2-0. You know Banks is a fastball pitcher. You've got to look for something you can drive. You hit the nail right on the head. Joyner didn't get a good swing at that pitch. He appeared to take something off. A curveball 2-0 after he's walked 2 hitters.
Shows a lot of maturity.
And absolutely, it shows even more than maturity is poise.
Joyner drives this one to left center field. Back goes Puckett. Back goes Gladden. Back. It gets off the wall. Tingley scores. Schofield scores. It's a 5-3 ball game. So there was a pitch that Wally could drive, and the Angel fans on their feet for one of the few times in this grim homestand. It's a 5-3 game. RBIs, and Dave Winfield, he of the 399 lifetime home runs, steps up with 2 down and Joyner on second. Up top for a ball. Winfield is grounded to second, grounded to third tonight. What a spot. It would be a big homer. If he got it, it would tie the game. And oh, by the way, put him in the 400 club. Foul. He got ahead of it. Too far ahead of it.
You were out ahead of it. You nearly jumped out of your chair in the booth to call it.
I was reeling in those backs right there. Or I was going to bring Rod Carew back to let him call it.
Winfield gets a pitch that's right in his zone, but gets out in front of it just a bit early.
Oh. We were on hand about this time last year when Winfield got base hit for his career number 2,500. It happened on a Tuesday in Anaheim. Off speed, just misses. 2-1 the count.
With a base open, Winfield up the plate. Right-hander versus right-hander. Though Parker is slumping, I think that this is the man that Banks wants to get out. Right-hander versus right-hander. Doesn't want to have Parker as the winning run at the plate.
A little tapper foul. The count is 2-2. I'm recoiling at every pitch. Well, I think everyone in the park feels that way.
Chance to see history made.
Tied at 23rd lifetime with Al Kaline, 399 home runs. Tied for 20th with Rogers Hornsby on the RBI list, almost 1,600. Will this be the night? Winfield held off, says Gary Cederstrom, and the count is full. Joyner at second. Full count. 2 out. The Angels have played it a deuce to get in it. It's 5-3 Minnesota. Bottom of inning number 5. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce here in Anaheim. Glad you could join us. Oh, Winfield fooled badly by Banks. 7 strikeouts for the youngster through 5 innings. The Angels do pick up 2, and through 5, it's Minnesota 5, California 3.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Isuzu. For features, styling, and price, there's no comparison. By First Brands Corporation, makers of STP oil treatment. And by Thompson's House and Deck Stain. Seal water out, seal color in.
The band dies down, and we can tell you it's the top of the 6th. It's a 5-3 game. And Brian Harper lined out to second base, popped to first. Catcher hitting .312. Fouls it back. When Harper hit .325 a couple of years back, it was one of the best batting averages by a catcher in recent years. 1-1 pitch. Harper fouls it back again. Since 1969, when they went to divisional play, Harper's .325 is the 3rd best mark by any catcher, bettered by only Ted Simmons, Simba, in '75 when he hit .332, and Manny Sanguillen in the same year in 1975 hit .328. But Harper's .325 from 2 years ago is the 3rd best for any backstop. But he's 0 for 3 tonight. You know, Chuck Finley has been such a good pitcher, but we've never come up with a nickname, and there's been much talked about. He's been asking me for it. Tonight, I don't know why it took so long, but we are dubbing him Chuck Huckleberry Finley. I mean, he's from Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana. I know it's a little bit farther down the Mississippi than Mark Twain wrote about, but at least it's on the same river. There he is, Huckleberry Finley. That was one of the Angel programs last year. What do you think? That okay? He approved of it. We talked before the game.
That's great. That's one of the best ones.
No K's tonight for Huckleberry. Now we're calling him Huckleberry for the rest of his life. Shane Mack past Gaetti down the left field line. Polonia over quickly. Mack digging for 2. Here's the throw. Not in time. Mack with a double. His 2nd hit tonight. So just when the Angels creep in it all the time, the Twins add more lumber.
Much like the story last night, they fell behind 5-0, fought back to 5-3, and then Twins came back, scored a couple of unearned runs in the 7th inning to break the game wide open. This is a ground ball, eludes Gaetti, goes down in the left field. Polonia up with it quickly, but Mack with that great speed has a headfirst dive into second base. So with 1 out, Twins are attempting to strike again.
Gene Larkin, single and a walk tonight, has scored a run. Boy, Mack continues to hit over 400 since the All-Star break. Told you, #1 pick of the Padres back in '84. Twins drafted him. He was unprotected. Play on at second base, and Soho makes a good play on that one. That could have been disaster, almost into center field.
Try to stop this Twins rally any way you can. Finley doesn't appear to have a good grip on the ball as he releases it. Fine play by Soho to prevent Mack from advancing.
Larkin hits one to center field. A long run for Gallagher. Makes it look pretty easy. Mack tagging and will get into third base. So 2 down for Scotty Leyes. Let's go to John Saunders.
Well, it finally happened. Tom Henke blew a save. It happened in the father-son-daughter game. This drive out towards third. Pat Pavler's son comes in to score, and Henke had finally ended his streak. Well, at least as far as that game goes. In the real action against the Tigers, Dave Bergman at the forkball misses it. 24 saves in 24 opportunities. Major League record. Back to you.
That was some great stuff.
No hanky-panky when you hit against Tom, that's for sure. 24 for 24. The Jays seem to have everything, don't they? This one is behind first. Joyner and Soho giving it run. Nice play by Joyner on the foul pop by Scott Leyes. So heading to the bottom of the sixth, the Twins lead it 5-3. Bottom of the sixth here in California. Willie Banks, the youngster, making his first start. Gets Dave Parker on strike one. Willie Banks and the Twins leading the Angels 5-3. Twins know the White Sox came back with a vengeance tonight against the Yankees. And so a win here would enable them to maintain their 3.5 game lead. The A's are playing tonight at home against Seattle. Had a good pitching performance from Ron Darling. Now, we've seen Darling in 3 jerseys this year already. Just saw him a couple weeks ago. He greeted us with a bonsoir as he was a member of the Expos, but now he's back in a pennant race. 2-1 count. Parker tops it foul behind the plate. Parker 0 for 2 tonight. Cade and grounded to third. There's the A's score. They lead at 3-0 bottom of the 7th. So the A's, if the Twins and A's win, the White Sox have won, it would remain the same. The status would remain quo in the AL West race. 3.5 the White Sox, 5 for Oakland. Seattle is next at 6.5 back. Two-two pitch. Parker just chops it foul behind the plate, staying alive. Two-two pitch from Banks. Ground ball. Larkin handles it. Says Banks, don't worry about it. I got it. And there's one down. So after a rocky start, really, Willie Banks has done one heck of a job. Thanks in part to a 2-run homer in the first inning by Chili Davis. Youngsters on the Twins, one of the reasons Chili was optimistic from the start this year.
We had a scout with the Giants when I was leaving for spring training that told me the 3 guys that I was going to be impressed with when I came over that were rookie players were Scott Erickson, Chuck Knobloch, and Willie Banks. And he says those are 3 guys that could help the team win. And it made me feel good knowing that I was going there to spring training to play with these guys. And you know, we played very well in spring training. We didn't go out just to get our work done in spring training. Everyone went out to win.
And win they have done. As former Twin Gary Gaetti looks at a 1-1 pitch and drives it through the hole on the left side for a base hit. Gaetti's first hit of the night. So the G-man is on. That means Dave Gallagher comes to the plate, the potential tying run.
Gaetti out in front of this curveball a little bit, but still keeps the bat back, driving it between short and third into left field for a base hit. We were talking earlier about the curveball. Willie Banks, what he had to do was shorten the arc of his arm to allow that curveball to have some action as it came up to the plate, breaking down and away from a right-hand hitter. Since he made the adjustment, he went on a winning streak in AAA, and now he finds himself making his first major league start.
You know, back to Gaetti for a moment. The eagle-eyed Susan Heeman up in the booth with us pointed it out. You know, he wore glasses. Rod Carew was with us then, so we didn't remark at it, but he had glasses. And as at bat in the 4th inning, struck out, said, get these out of here. And sharply, without the glasses, went with a base hit. So the optometrist business in the United States taking a setback with that last at bat by Gary Gaetti. So why am I wearing glasses announcing this game? As Gallagher swings again, that off-speed stuff by Banks is very impressive.
What makes it so deceptive is his arm speed. Has the same arm speed for his fastball as he does his changeup. Mark Guthrie, Steve Bedrosian, the right-hander, Guthrie, the left-hander, warming up in the bullpen.
Woody and Bedrock warming up. Got under it a little bit, did Gallagher, as Gladden is there and left to make it 2 down. So Gaetti back to first base. Ron Tingley coming up. Hey, for the first time this year, the Hotel California expands to other states. We get to visit the beautiful city of Seattle for the A's and the Mariners. 2 teams trying to breathe down the necks of these Minnesota Twins in the AL West. It's our first trip of the year. Eagerly looking forward to it. And that will be our check-in next week. And a little injury problem on the field right now with Gagne. Let's see what happened. It looked like he misstepped. And he's going to come off the field. So we'll try and find out what the matter is with Gagne. I would imagine Al Newman will go in, and that's exactly what will happen. So Gagne goes off with a foot injury of some sort, the right foot. But what me worry, Al Newman is in the game at shortstop. One of the unsung, well, I'm talking about guys like Brian Harper who are unsung in the Twins, but this guy, his attitude, the fact that he can play a lot of positions, and the fact that he always comes through is hard-nosed. If you're a Twin fan, you love Al Newman.
Any team would love to have a player like Al Newman. Unselfish, will play any infield position, though his best position is shortstop. Has virtually no power, makes contact, can perform in any number of capacities on the field. Hit behind the runner if he has to, bunt a runner over. As they say in the dugout, a good guy to have on the ball club.
Well, both in the clubhouse and what he does on the field and off the field. Newman, one of the members of the Twins, still there from the '87 championship team. Ron Tingley catching tonight in place of the slumping Lance Parrish. Looks at ball 1 from Willie Banks. Gaetti, the runner at first base. There's a curveball for a strike. 1-1. Gaetti at first. A 5-3 Twins lead, bottom of the 6th. Harper looking all over for the ball. Finally finds it.
Looked like a pinball, didn't it?
It did. Harp with his whole family with him on this trip. 3 boys.
Curveball. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is.
Gaetti wasn't about to try and sneak down to second on that play, as Harper booted it into the dugout. Way out in front of that one is Tingley, and it's strike 2. 2-2.
Willie Banks has been quite impressive tonight. Take away the first couple of hitters in the 5th inning. He came back well. Fell behind Polonia after walking 2 hitters, 3-0, and was able to retire the side. Only after Joyner had a double, though.
Fastball missed outside. The count is full. So Gaetti will be off and running. Tingley trying to put his bat on the ball. 22-year-old Willie Banks, major league debut as a starter. Pitched 2 innings last week in New York in mop-up. Here goes Gaetti. Tingley swings and misses. 8 strikeouts for Willie Banks through 6 innings. And the Twins continue to lead it 5-3.
Time now for Miller High Life streaks, peaks, and valleys. The Mets have now lost 7 games in a row. Peaking the Royals, they're now 20-9 since July 4th when they were in last place. And the Valleys, yes, the California Angels, 8-20 since July 4th. They were in first place then. They're now dead last. Back to Chris and Jerry.
All right, John, thank you. Yeah, the Angels don't need to be reminded that from July 4th to August 4th, the bottom fell out. Chuck Finley gave up 2 in the first on a home run by Chili Davis, 2 in the second, a run in the fourth, trying to keep his club in it. It's 5-3. And Al Newman, not likely to go deep. 1,640 at bats since his last home run. If you're scoring at home, you of course all remember that came with the Expos in 1986. So what me worry? Probably not worrying about going deep. Count is 1-1. You know what time it's getting to be tonight?
Well, it's the 7th inning. Something seems to be missing in this telecast.
Oh, maybe a play-by-play announcer, but outside of that, as the count is 1-2, it's almost quiz time. Can you feel it? Can you feel the vibes?
Something in the air other than the smell of colitas.
Rising up through the air, yes.
I wonder, we'll have to contact Glenn Fry and the boys to add another line when we go to Seattle. I mean, we're going to have to expand that.
Have the boys get their pens out. Let's see what we can do.
If Nordstrom's can go from Seattle down the coast of California, Hotel California can go up to Seattle.
Look at Al Newman hit one to the gap. It may not be a homer, but it's an extra base hit for Newman. Polonia fires it in. So Newman in on the injury to Gagne and promptly delivers a double.
Finley gets a pitch over the middle of the plate. It's down. Newman just goes down to get it. Drives it into the gap in left center with that good speed, though Polonia gets over there quickly. Newman coasts into second base with a leadoff double.
So Dan Gladden stepping up. Gladden drove in a run with a sac fly, has been hit by pitch, so officially only up once tonight when he grounded to second in the 4th inning. Gladden bunts it, a good one. Newman down to third. The play goes to first base. Soho from Joyner. And so that play goes 3-4 if you're scoring. This goes from west to east if you're scoring, John.
And if you're scoring, Ken Griffey Jr. gets a #1, a gold star, whatever, at the plate or in the field. Doing it again, coming in on this Jamie Quirk fly, leaps and grabs it. Oakland, though, still up 3-0. Back to Chris and Jerry.
The junior has been putting on a show. Chuck Finley looking for win number 15, but he'll have to get some more runs as the Twins lead the Angels here 5-3. We're all over this AL West pennant race here tonight for you on our game and on baseball tonight. A shot. Schofield goes home. The tag is made and Newman is gunned down. So late in the ball game, a 2-run game, Rader had the infield in and the defensive strategy paid off. Schofield has been sharp tonight at short. That yet another example.
Have to play the infield in because the Angels are behind by a couple of runs. Runner on third and 1 out. This ball is a shot off the bat of Chuck Knobloch right to Schofield. Fields it, makes a fine throw into the plate. Ron Tingley goes after the ball and has time to get himself in position to tag out Newman, who was off with the pitch.
So now 2 down and Kirby Puckett up. Good play by the Angels. There goes the base runner, Knobloch. Tingley's throw hits him in the head and scoots on into center field. That's the only reason he didn't pop up and run. He may be dazed. Chuck, a tough kid, but that one will smart. And he gets up annoyed that he didn't get up and go into third base. So you know that there is a scrappy ball player. Maybe hit him in the arm. Looked like it glanced off the helmet, but it looked now the left elbow is what he's holding. It's Tom Kelly, the Twins trainers, of course, out quickly. Tom taking the saunter route.
Let's see if we can find out where he hit him. Got him on the elbow.
These glasses aren't working. Let me borrow Gaetti's.
And the ball skips in to short left center field. Knobloch can't get up in time to advance on the play. Decides to stay at second and seeks the help from the trainer.
Knobloch 16 of 17 in the stolen base department and 16 in a row. That one hurt a little more than most. He leads. He's the only man in double figures in stolen base department for the Twins. The next is Gladden with 8.
He's going to stay in the ball game. He's a tough little kid. His parents back in Houston, Texas, probably watching tonight's ball game. They came to opening day, saw him make his major league debut in Oakland. and they probably watched him all season and observed him have a fine rookie year. Has a stolen base, is on second with 2 men out for the Minnesota Twins in the 7th.
And Puckett up with a 1-0 count. Angels trying to creep in it, but the Twins trying to keep him at bay. And another run would be a big run here. Count is 1-1. Kirby now at 328. Not many collars does he take. Hit 356 a few years back and didn't win the batting title. Wade Boggs beat him out that year. That hurts. Kirby, one of the few right-hand hitters to win a batting title in recent years in the American League. Joyner, be a close play. Save. The runner comes home. Bad throw. 6-3 Twins. That had trouble written all over it. Joyner and Finley couldn't connect. And Knobloch kept on steaming around third with the 2 down, and the Twins have regained a 3-run advantage.
It's a ground ball to the right of Joyner. Fields it on a high hop. Has a little difficulty getting the ball out of his glove. Puckett hustling down to first on the play. Beats it. Finley looking for the call from first base umpire Gary Cederstrom. Doesn't turn around in time to throw Chuck Knobloch out, who scores all the way from second base in a ground ball to Wally Joyner.
Chili Davis up, and the Twins lead at 6-3, and there goes Kirby. Again, Tingley's throw was behind the runner, and again the Twins have stolen a base. Boy, you're seeing the difference in the first place team and the basement team in the AL West right here this half inning, as we saw it in the first couple innings. The Angels have not looked like this all year until the last 3 weeks, but the Twins have taken this attitude right from spring training.
This is a straight steal attempted by Kirby Puckett, and he slides in there safely. Now the ball appears to get there in time, but it's off target. Soho does a nice job in applying the tag, only it's too high and too late to nail Puckett. So once again, the Twins have a base runner in scoring position with 2 men out.
Look at how the Twins have scored tonight here as the count is 1-0 to Chili Davis. Marcel Latchman on the horn. Chili swings and misses, except for Davis's 2-run homer in the first, Jerry. They've scored in the second on a sac fly, a pass ball, in the fourth on a sac fly, and in the 7th here they've scored on an infield single from second base. So they're just producing runs, except for the long ball by Chili. They're scratching over runs, but yet here they have 6 runs, and this is a team that's averaged more than 6 runs a game since the break. Joyner squeezes it, but the Twins pick up an important insurance run. Heading to the 7th inning stretch at 6-3 Minnesota.
Coming up on SportsCenter after the game, we'll have highlights from the pennant races. There are important series going on in all 4 divisions. At the Pan Am Games, the American men win a tough one against Argentina in basketball, and we'll have an NFL training camp preview on the Chicago Bears.
Bottom of the 7th at Anaheim. The Angels trying to snap a 6-game losing streak, but they're staring down the bore of another Twins lead. 6-3 Twins, and up to the minute the AL West looks this way. The White Sox have won tonight, so they're 3 back as we stand. The A's leading the Mariners, so those teams are 5 and 6.5 back. Rangers 7 back. The Royals 9 back, and now the Angels will be the team in the division that will spoil the potential all 500 or better finish by every team in the AL West. Mark Guthrie has come on in relief of Willie Banks, who would stand to win his first major league decision. Guthrie from Buffalo went to LSU, ERA just over 5. And the left-hander is outside to Dick Schofield. Schofield has played a good game tonight. The same cannot be said for many of the other Angels. And lost in the shuffle, really, of what did they do? Do they lock him up? He's had a very fine year. like Gagne, hitting about the 250 range from the number 9 slot and fielding expertly at shortstop. You can't really ask for much more unless you have Ernie Banks playing the position or Honus Wagner.
Well, teams know that in order to win, you have to be strong up the middle, second base, shortstop, and center field. And both of these teams have excellent shortstops.
Six-three Twins. Schofield takes it. It's 3-2. Dave Winfield due to bat 5th this inning. We have 1 or 2 more cracks at homer number 400. Our quiz tonight from the Hotel California. Name the pitcher who threw a no-hitter for one of these two teams, the Twins or Angels, and won the Cy Young Award while pitching for the other one. Remember, both teams began business. The Twins moved from the old Senators up to Minnesota in '61. That's the year the Angels were an expansion team, the Los Angeles Angels. So 61 are on. A no-hitter for one, a Cy Young for another. Guy who could easily win both awards, John Saunders.
And I have the Norris Trophy in the National Hockey League. Mariners and the A's. Dave Henderson at the plate, pulls this one out to left field. Gone for the home run as the A's add to their lead. Trying to climb the ladder to catch the Twins. Back to Chris and Jerry.
Can do. Luis Polonia up. You know, one thing we haven't mentioned, Jerry, is, well, Saturday's game when Dave Henderson went deep 3 times for the A's against the Twins. They hit 6 solo homers and all, yet the Twins came back. The big blow being a Harper 3-run homer. They came back to win the game. That can go down maybe as the game of the year in baseball, certainly for importance. Welch beat Morris on Friday night. Here with the defending champs staring at the upstart Twins. Yet the Twins win it Saturday. They come back and win Sunday by Erickson. And that, I mean, when all is said and done, remember that game. That's Saturday, last Saturday in Oakland. The bat goes past first. The ball goes to left. Gladden makes a nice catch. And Schofield returns to first base. That's scary. The bat one way, you're watching a lot of things. Gladden made a nice play.
Minnesota Twins, like other teams in the American League, play Luis Polonia to hit the ball to the opposite field. And Gladden was playing him perfectly. Sees that he has the play in front of him, decides to make a sliding catch so that he holds on to the ball. First out for the Angels in the 7th.
Luis Sojo up. The word on Greg Gagne, a mild sprain of his right ankle, so that doesn't sound serious. Yet he's left the game, and Al Newman is at short.
And if you're keeping track, scoring, and I'm certain that all our viewers are, the line on Willie Banks in his first major league start: 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, and 8, count them, strikeouts.
Welcome to the bigs, Willie Banks. A name we'll be hearing about for a long while.
As the group Shalimar would say, this for Willie Banks was a night to remember.
They said that the night the Titanic sunk, right? Walter Lord. So Shalimar wasn't first big guy to say that.
But you have a degree from Brown University.
I mean, so what? I mean, that doesn't mean that I
accept the fact that you're well read. And also, you might have been around when the Titanic sunk.
Oh, thanks, Jerry. Mark Guthrie flipping the iceberg over to first, and Sojo will make his gone. Schofield down to second base. And Wally Joyner is up, the man who has driven in all 3 runs tonight for the Angels, with a single in the first, a double in the 5th. Here's Absorbine Joyner. Now 69 RBIs. But won't get number 70 as Knobloch makes the play over to Larkin. And the Angels are gone, heading to the 8th. 6-3 Twins.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Michelob Light. It's always smooth, never filling, so why settle for anything less? And by Subway, sandwiches and salads made fresh before your eyes.
6-3. The Twins lead the Angels here in the 8th. And Brian Harper, Shane Mack, and Gene Larkin batting against 14-game winner Chuck Finley, who's staring at a 14-6 mark unless the Angel bats erupt. Up top for a ball. I'd like to say hi to Chuck's parents, especially his mom, Sue Finley. That nice article about a month ago in Sports Illustrated. Sue Finley, his mom, said I was one of her favorites. Obviously, she hasn't watched enough, but Chuck mentioned that, and that was in the article, and she's watching. She may be here at the game, but if she has cable in her seat, I'd like to say thanks, Ma. It's always nice when players' mothers like you.
If you could convince the mother that you're a good guy, you could convince anybody.
Count is 2-1. Harp swings and misses. 2-2.
And of course, at this time, as we do every Tuesday night, is welcome the Major League Baseball players, the minor league baseball players who have toiled thus far this evening, only to come back to their hotel room or home to tune us in. We appreciate it, guys.
We do. Harper, a little flare to right field. Winfield coming on, makes the play, and there is one down. Jerry, have we mentioned that the Reds and the Dodgers are playing on ESPN tomorrow?
I think we should mention it again.
I think we should. Some of the players who are around the league just tuning in may not know that. The Dodgers, the straw man, Barry Larkin, the Dodgers and Reds, one of the best rivalries in baseball. Tomorrow night on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern Time. Donka's Shane Mack, 2 for 3 tonight, scored a run.
Chuck Finley has started 23 times this year, has gone into the 7th inning or greater 19 times now with this appearance here in the 8th.
Skies it to Winfield. Dave records another putout this half inning, and Gene Larkin coming up. You know, among all the other players watching, one of our favorites. You'd be happy to know I got off the schneid today. Kenny Brett sitting next to us, the Angels broadcaster, said, my kid brother's annoyed at you. Never talked to him. Called George at home, congratulated him on the big extra base hit he had last night. Come back win by the Royals. I'm off the schneid. George said he would watch tonight. So if he's not, he's on my list. You know what happens when you're on my list. 1-0 pitch to Larkin. Slug to left field. Back goes Polonia. Back. Home run. So Gene Larkin playing instead of Herbeck at first tonight because of the lefty. Again makes Tom Kelly look like a genius, knows what he's doing. Larkin has gone deep.
Last night, Kirby Puckett got the night off. Ken Herbeck tonight. And the replacement for Herbeck, Gene Larkin, gets his second hit of the evening, 2 for 3. This one an important home run, an insurance run. And now Minnesota leads the ball game 7-3.
His second home run this year. His 25th overall, which puts him 468 behind Lou Gehrig on the Columbia Major League home run list. Gehrig with 493, Larkin now with 25. They've been hitting him out, which is why the Twins are looking at their 4th straight win.
So Chile with a 2-run homer in the first, and the Twins produced runs on sac flies and pass balls and infield singles. Now they go back to the more conventional variety, and it's a 7-3 game. Remember our quiz. Keep working on it. Cy Young for one of these teams, no-hitter for another one of these teams. Ground ball to Gaetti at third. Throws to first to retire Leas. And we're headed to the bottom of the 8th. Twins lead at 7-3. Bottom of the 8th, 7-3. The Twins lead the Angels. Our quiz tonight. A Cy Young for one of these teams, a no-hitter for the other one. The answer, not Bert B. Home Bly-Levin. You have to go to Dean Chance, Cy Young Award 64, Los Angeles Angels at the age of 23 years old. Pitched 11 shutouts that year with an ERA of 1.65. He was an Angel. In 67, Dean Chance pitched a 9-inning no-hitter at Cleveland and a 5-inning no-hitter. Bert Bly-Levin was a good guess. Began as a Twin, had 2 times as a Twin, and of course now an Angel. Dave Winfield, 399 home runs against the third Twins pitcher of the night, Steve Bedrosian. Looks like Winnie's last at bat tonight. Will this be the magical one? Count is 1-1. Bedrock, Cy Young Award winner, as a Philly in 87. He's done a nice job setting up Rick Aguilera as a Twin this year. Grounder to third. Leas. High throw. Larkin makes the tag. Winfield is gone. And this doesn't look like the evening unless the Angels start something cooking and Winfield comes up again.
Scotty Leas, half of the tandem, along with Mike Pagliarulo, playing third base for the Twins this year and doing quite a job offensively. Shows that he can do the job defensively. A high throw here, but coming off the bag, Gene Larkin catches the ball, makes a tag on Dave Winfield, retire him for the out number 1 for the Angels in the 8th.
Dave Parker 0 for 3. Have won it tonight. Again 3-0. Again the shutout. They've stopped a very hot Mariners team. And Mike Moore, Ron Darling, Bob Welch all have pitched well here in the span of the last 5 days for the A's. Don't ever sell the champions, defending champs of any sport, short. American League champions in this case for the Oakland A's. The Reds too, making their noise in the NL West. You have the plaque for how well you read this. Go ahead.
Thank you. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball.
Parker chops one foul. You're reading that pretty fast, but the plaque I meant was the plaque on your teeth, not the award that you got. You showed, Jerry Royce showed me earlier today, folks, a plaque. It says, what is it, the Disclaimer Reading Award?
That's right.
Parker fouls it back. That's the first time I can remember that award being doled out.
It was doled out by my good friend Mark Wolfson, who is the producer for the Dodgers games and a close friend. He got me again. A good zinger. He got me for the Disclaimer Award. He apparently watches our telecast and pays attention very closely to everything that you and I say.
Parker not pleased, but he struck out, and Harper almost fires the ball into left field. So Willie Banks had 8 Ks tonight. This is the 9th overall strikeout of the Angels.
Bedrosian, a fastball and a slider, gets a pitch on the outside corner. Not to his liking, but much to the liking of John Shulock, who calls Parker out for strike 3.
Gary Gaetti, a little flare that Larkin has under control and foul ground. So a very quiet 8th inning for the Angels. We're going to the 9th. 7-3, the AL West front runners ahead. 7-3 in the top of the ninth here in Anaheim on a night that Rod Carew was honored as an Angel Hall of Fame member. He's watching his first team, the Twins, do a number on his last team, the Angels. Chili Davis, 2-run homer in the first, number 26. Larkin had a solo blast. Willie Banks, major league debut as a starter, went 6 innings, struck out 8. And he stands to win his first major league game. Chuck Finley is gone here in the ninth. Chris Beasley, 29 years of age, called up recently from Edmonton.
He was to be sent down, except that Brian Harvey had to leave because of a death in the family. So the Angels decided to send Bobby Rose down.
And Al Newman, who replaced Gagne in the 6th inning when Gagne had to leave with a slightly sprained ankle, doubled in his only time up, ended up being thrown out at the plate by Dick Schofield. Beasley, 6'2", 190. From Jackson, Tennessee, where he was born. Almost threw that one to Jackson, Tennessee. Count is 2-1. So the Minnesota Twins are looking to make it 4 in a row, stay 3.5 on top of the White Sox and 5 over the A's. And it's interesting to note that the Twins, when they win it, they always come from way off the pace. Every time in their history that they've won, they come from way back. Last year they were dead last in this division. They're trying to go from last to first. Now, they were in the World Series in '65. The year before, they finished 6th. In '68, they finished 7th. With Martin, they won it in '69, then repeated. Newman walks. You can get that back up a second. In '86, they were in 6th place, but came from nowhere to go to finish in first in the West and win the World Series. Last year, they were 7th. Will they finish first again? I mean, they come from nowhere when they win. Make a note. Next time you're in Nevada and the Twins finished last or in 6th. The Twins also trying to become only the 7th team in the history of baseball to finish 7th or worse in one year and come back to win their division or league the next. Ground ball. Beasley, Schofield, Joyner, Gladden has hit into a double play. So when Schofield's involved with the defensive plays, they've all clicked tonight. Now, except for the one that Soho took his foot off the bag. I'm sorry.
Pitchers work in spring training constantly on this play. Ground ball back to the mound, feed the shortstop. Schofield has it, returns the throw, routine double play.
Curveball over for a strike. We said 6 other teams have gone from 7th or more to first. The last times it's been done, the '69 Twins, 7th in '68. Billy Martin's first year as manager. The famed Dave Boswell fight and everything else, but he took them all the way to first. And also in '69, the Mets finished 9th the year before and went on to win everything. The '67 Red Sox turned the trick. The '59 Dodgers turned the trick. The '46 Red Sox and the '26 Yankees. That's it. Luis Soho in the rain. Over to Joyner. Can the Angels rally for 4 and tie it? We'll be back to find out. Bottom of the ninth, the Twins lead the Angels 7-3. 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Angels. Gallagher, Tingley, and Schofield due up. Looks like Max Venable in the on-deck circle to hit for Tingley. This is Gallagher at the plate inside. One of the long-lost facts of a baseball season is the spring training wins and losses. And for the Minnesota Twins, Rader wondering what he has to do to get out of this slump. It's seen the Angels go from first to last in a month. Tom Kelly's team had the best record in baseball this spring, 21-10. Bedrosian drops it in for a strike. Now, normally, okay, he's got some veterans, the Puckett's, the Herbecks. In spring training, it doesn't mean a lot. But for the Twins, everybody will tell you that it meant plenty. Their first year at Fort Myers, and they finished 21-10. It taught the young kids that indeed this was not a last place team. That maybe that they'd have a good team this year. The fly ball to right that Shane Mack handles, and there's one down. And Montgomery, Jack Edwards. Welcoming Jack to the fold. We've known him for a while. Now he's one of us. I'll give you all the major league scores and highlights. Dodgers, Reds, big game in Cincinnati. Pan Am games, hoop tonight. We'll preview the Chicago Bears and plenty more. Ann and Jack will have it all for you after the game. The pinch hitter for Ron Tingley, William McKinley Venable, commonly known as Max. We have Charles Theodore Davis in this game, and we have William McKinley Venable. He has been venerable. He's been around for a long time in a lot of places.
Sounds like the Hall of Presidents.
Bedrosian, a little low.
You were talking about spring training, why it is important to get a good attitude in spring training. You get that winning feeling. You know that you can win even though it is spring training, and you do what you have to do.
Venable does what he has to do. Sends one over the fence. Max Venable hitting like a president. His third home run of the year. His 18th home run lifetime. And the unlikely power source of Max Venable has made it a 7-4 game.
Venable gets a pitch to his liking, a fastball up in the strike zone, drives it over the right center field fence, brings the Angels within striking range.
Oh, Bedrosian makes the play, throws it around anyway. Bedrock was rocked almost by Dick Schofield, but he makes the play. So we didn't see Gabe Winfield's 400th tonight, but we have seen Max Venable's 18th and Gene Larkin's 25th of their careers. There's Venable, and here's Bedrock playing some D. So the Angels' last hope is Luis Polonia. I was just going to read off all of Venable's stops, but I guess we don't have the time now. Polonia swings and misses. Count is 0-2.
But coming out of spring training.
Yep. And they went 2-9, but they already were sure that they could win. And the spring training knowledge that indeed it wasn't a losing spring and a 2-9 start, I think that really has gone a long way to help the Twins. And every player, Tom Kelly, will say that it did. And among other things, it made Chuck Knobloch a Twin going north. It convinced them of what Leyes could do. And it convinced the veterans that maybe we can sneak up on some people. Sneak up they have done. Beleaguered Doug Rader. His Angels about to drop their 7th straight. Their 8th straight at home. 8-17 they'll be since the break. The Twins will be 18-7 since the break. 1-2 pitch. Polonia fouls it back.
Could be termed best as reversal of fortune, couldn't it? Two teams going in opposite directions.
And we're seeing it tonight. This is a fun team to follow, the Minnesota Twins. I find that there are a lot of people around the country don't have allegiances to any teams in this division that are pulling for the Twins. I think every baseball fan in America likes Kirby Puckett. I think that's a layup. Chopper over Bedrock's head. Knobloch to Larkin, and the Twins have done it again. They stay 3.5 up in the AL West. They've won 4 in a row. The Twins, and Willie Banks wins his first game. The Twins beat the Angels 7-4. Hope you've enjoyed it from Anaheim. Next week, we'll check in for the first time, at least on Tuesday night in Seattle, when the A's meet the Seattle Mariners. For Jerry Royce, I'm Chris Berman saying our eyes grow heavy, our sight grows dim. We've got to stop for the night. Here's SportsCenter.